afternoon, you guys. My name is Christani Jen, and in today's video I would like to talk to you guys about the law of attraction and why you should not pick a specific person. I would also like to go into how to have an attractive life. First things first, with the law of attraction, the number one question I want to ask you, for you to ask yourself, is what is it? What is the law of attraction? In 2006, The Secret came out, the film and the movie, and they were a worldwide success. I even got into many of the modalities that it had. I remember there was a couple, Abraham Hicks, who did channeling work, which at the time I didn't know what channeled work was. I would follow them and I would listen to a lot of their work on YouTube and online. So basically, the law of attraction and the secret book and the secret movie, they took the world by storm. And you'd have to actually be living under a rock to not have been affected by The Secret when it came out, because it was so popular. Everyone was doing it, but it was only after a while people started to understand that maybe some of this stuff is not biblical, although it has a lot of scripture work inside of it. So the first topic I'm gonna go into is why you should not attract a specific person through the law of attraction. First, let's go into the basis of the law of attraction. A lot of it says that the universe will bring about your wishes, right? Your wish is my command, the universal genie, right? And you attribute everything to the universe. So in the law of attraction also says that the universe doesn't think, it's the universal mind, the universal consciousness, and it doesn't really pinpoint that this universe really reasons at all. So the first thing I would like to say is, there you go. When something doesn't reason, you don't want to attribute anything you want, such as a mate, a lifelong partner, moving out of state, moving anywhere, financial decisions, basically on a universal being or a universal entity or universal mind, where it's like it's basically gonna decide, but it doesn't think, right? It doesn't think, but it's gonna decide your mate for you. It's gonna give you guidance on whether you should move and other major life decisions. See, when you go with God, right? God is actually a reasoning being, right? I'm a Christian and I make no qualms about that. And when you go with God, He is able to reason, right? So let's get into why it's not good to pick a specific person based on the law of attraction. So when you go with God, right? You're going with God, you're choosing God, and He's picking somebody for you. There's something called a red light, a green light, a yellow light. So a green light would mean for you to go, right? So when there's a green light, God would basically be completely okay with you going ahead and pursuing that relationship. You guys get into the relationship and even get married very quickly, because it's a go ahead. You have full permission to go ahead and pursue that relationship. If it's a yellow light, you would have to wait it out and let the person mature. You each have to do some maturing, and you guys would come back together. Where if it's a red light, you guys would probably not be good or compatible together. Now, when you're doing something with a universal power, this universe which doesn't think, you're picking somebody, a life partner, you're picking things that are very important based on something that doesn't think. And I want you to reason with yourself what the ramifications is. That you're picking it from a universal genie that doesn't think. It always says yes. Your wish is my command. Everything is always yes. Now, if it does not think, and you're picking people, and everything is yes. You want this guy, yes. You want this, yes. So it's not reasoning whether this guy is good for you or not, whether this person is a horrible person or not, whether this person cares about your feelings, whether they're a good person, or whether they're just flippant with everything that they do. So with the law of attraction, what I see is that a lot of times when I look online and people are asking, for a specific person, it's usually because of one or two things. Either the person is extremely attractive, or they're an ex that the person regrets leaving, and most of the reasons they want to be with them is superficial, because the person is usually a horrible person that usually doesn't even know that they're alive, or they make them jump through hoops, right? So when I'm looking at the law of attraction and using a specific person, I basically think when I would look at the results, a lot of it would be met with a lot of resistance, because the person would just be horrible. Number one, they'd be horrible, and they'd make the person jump through hoops. They would not need the person as much as the person would need them, and it's basically like they would be stringing the person along. That's what I would observe, right? Because it's like the person that wants them is more invested than they are, and so then they're making the person basically jump through hoops to stay with them, right? So sometimes when somebody is attractive and that's the sole reason why you want them, you probably don't want to choose it solely because they're because of that reason, right? Because some people, they're truly really horrible, right? They're really horrible. They don't reason well, and they're very flippant with people's feelings, and they just basically don't have feelings, right? They use people for what they want, and they discard them. So basically, another thing I noticed about the law of attraction is the methodologies that they would use, the steps they would use to get the mate, the specific mate. So sometimes it'll be an ex, or it could be somebody that you're looking from afar who's really hot, who's really handsome. So what I would notice is that they would usually write affirmations down, think about the person, visualize a person. All of it is actually spiritual, but it's spiritual towards the other end, not towards the godly end, right? They would say contact spirit guides. You have crystals, you have tarot cards, and it's like most of the stuff is actually real legal in the spiritual realm, but it's just towards the other end. And I remember one time I found something called channeled work to Abraham Hicks, and at first I did not know what channeled work was, and they would contact this entity called Abraham. So at first I thought it was okay, and then later on I found out it was actually not biblical at all, and something you're not supposed to be listening to as a Christian. So a lot of the law of attraction, though it seems harmless, a lot of it is based on pagan beliefs. A lot of it is based on witchcraft, the affirmations, the visualizations, like basically summoning and seancing a specific person towards you. That's like witchcraft, right? And that's something you're not supposed to do. And a lot of it, I feel, goes against the person's will. You're willing them, and there's another entity called Satan that's overseeing this, where it's like they know that you want the person, so you're being gravitated towards the person through affirmations, which is like spell work, crystals, tarot cards, and the like, right? So a lot of attracting a specific person, I felt like it's like you're willing the person. Okay, so a lot of thing is that it's almost like you're willing the person to come to you, and it's like you wish it so bad that it's like you could attract a really bad person, right? A really horrible person that doesn't really feel any emotion, that really is basically a horrible person, and it's all because all you're thinking about is how hot they are, and you have an entity, Satan, that's listening to what your dreams and desires, and you're using modalities that is witchcraft modalities, and it's like you're bringing somebody to you, you don't know what type of person they are. And I've heard, though not specifically, that some very bad things have happened to people that have used a specific person to attract a specific person, because they basically didn't know what they were getting into, right? So the law of attraction, and I know I'm explaining from all angles, but the law of attraction, you shouldn't use this because the universe is not a thinking being, right? It's an all-encompassing power, and as far as we know, Satan rules this world, right? So the universe, as you know it, is Satan's playground for now, right? So Right now, I would deter you, I would say, not to attract a specific person to the law of attraction, because it's like you don't know what it is, so it's best not to tempt it. And because we know that right now that crystals, tarot cards, spirit guides are demonic, then you know that how you're bringing about this person, you're bringing it from a side that's demonic. And there's no amount of somebody being hot that you would pick it them based on, say, like on the demonic, spiritually demonic way, right? Because that person's gonna bring you nothing but sorrow, right? Because if you went with God, he would probably give you that person, right? But it would take longer, because the person would have to go through development, maybe go through being more sensitive towards other people. You would go through a journey, they would go through a journey, and eventually you guys might come together, right? So one thing I'm saying is that I'm not saying not to like an attractive a certain person, right? I know many times through Christian ways you wanted people, certain people have wanted a specific person, and it has actually worked out for their good, and they actually ended up with the person that they really liked, and it worked out really well. The only thing I'm saying is that don't use modalities such as seancing and witchcraft work to get the person, because if you get it the wrong way, the person's not going to stay, or it's going to stay wrong because you went through the wrong spiritual route to get it, right? So I'm saying to you, if you want a specific person, pray about it, pray to God about it, and he will give you the specific person if that's what's meant to happen to you. Now I know that's not the answer you guys were looking for, because you guys want it quick, but when God does something, he does it slow and he does it well, right? And you won't be disappointed if you guys end up together, which I've heard many times of people who actually want a specific person, they went the right way and it did work out, and it went out for the best because they waited when the right time was based on God's leading, right? So that's basically that. The next topic I'm gonna bring for you guys is, that was a lot to say, because I have so much ideas on that law of attraction, and I was so into it before because I did not know it was not biblical. So I have a lot of experience with it. So the next topic we're gonna go into is how to have an attractive life 2.0. So you'll remember that I had a video called How to Romanticize Your Life, and I wrote about getting to Zen mode, and so this will be how to have an attractive life, or how to romanticize your life 2.0, either for the fall or for the winter or for spring or for summer, whichever season that you're in. It doesn't matter, right? As long as you're always trying to romanticize your life, you're always trying to have an attractive life, right? Because that's what matters. So the first thing I would say is that with having an attractive life, I want you guys to basically slow down, right? When I think of luxury, I think of a life, a soft life, a life where you are taking in the breath of fresh air, right? You are relaxing, you're going out on dinners if that's what you so like, you're doing activities that you like, you're taking up hobbies that you absolutely love, and you're basically loving your body in the process. So basically, for how to have an attractive life or how to romanticize your life, I would say take your time when doing certain tasks throughout the day. Take your time, right? Get a journal, write down your thoughts if that's a way you like to express yourself. Find a way that you like to express yourself. Is it to journaling? Is it to singing? And begin to do more of that, right? So do more of the hobbies that you love. That's number one. Next, I would say slow down a lot, right? In my video, How to Romanticize Your Life, you remember that I told you guys about how to get into Zen mode, right? So Zen mode is basically when you wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. every morning to do all the things that is meant for the day, but in a pattern in an organized pattern. Like if you do the night before, you could write down all the things you want to do for the next day, and slowly throughout the day, when you wake up early, you begin to do them, right? What I found out with this is that it affords you a lot of time to basically relax into the day, and to take your time, and to basically enjoy the whole day, right? So that you're not rushing to work or to school. So another thing I want to go into is not rushing, right? So you want to slow down, but another thing you want to do is not rush through your life, because you don't want to rush, right? So with not rushing, I live in a big city, right? I live in New York City, if you guys didn't know. And it's a huge city where people are always rushing in the subway. They're rushing, they always have somewhere to go, and it's like, it could be pretty daunting when you're in the city and you don't have nothing to do that day, but then you start rushing and pacing yourself just like everyone else, because New York is like a rat race, right? It's always rushing. It's always a fast-paced city. It doesn't sleep, for real. So I remember that I was watching a video by Eva Monroe, and she was saying how she had brunch, and she basically, I think she's based in New York also, right? So she had brunch, and she just took an hour and a half to have brunch, right? First of all, that's kudos to her, having an hour and a half to have brunch. And she said she really enjoyed every morsel of the food. She really enjoyed every morsel of the food. She really took in the experience, the breeze, and it was warm but not too warm. It was a cool breeze, and she just felt everything about the experience, right? So I want you guys, when you're in your lives, to feel the breeze, to feel the air on your skin, right? A lot of times you're rushing through your life. You're rushing through your life. You're rushing to get to the next step. What if you slow down a bit, right? This will take some time. What if you took 9 months, 6 months, and you basically slowed down your life? And you slow down your life significantly to a point where you can enjoy every single minute, and you could breathe in and take in the experiences, right? So next thing I'm gonna say is, when you're eating food, make sure to have an experience. Even if you're eating out, they give you the experience, you buy the experience, but when you're eating in, make sure you make the experience a very good experience for yourself. So one thing that people don't do anymore is family dinners. That would be a good idea. And if you don't have a family dinner, or if you live alone, then I would suggest you do a dinner by lamplight. You put on some music, you put on the fine china because you're important, and you decorate the plate with the food the best way that you know how, right? And you would decorate the food. You would put in the food in a way that arranges in a very beautiful way, so that you could treat yourself, so that you could see, so that the message that you're giving yourself is that you're special. So the next thing I want to go into is, first I said don't rush, then the food that you eat, to treat it with respect, like to respect the food that you're eating, right? Make it an experience for yourself. Next, I want to say, how do you treat your things, right? Do you take care of your things? Do you take care of your room? Do you make sure it's spick and span? When you have a cleared space, a space that is clear and clutter free, your mind is clear and clutter free, right? Do you take care of your things? Okay, how do you take care of your room, right? How do you take care of your things, right? How do you take care of your space, right? Do you make sure it's luxurious and it feels good, right? So another thing I want to have to say is self-care, right? Because self-care is important, but some people, they don't think it's important, right? They rush through self-care in the morning, and it's like, when you're having a hot shower, have an experience with that hot shower, right? It could be very good when you have an experience with that shower, right? And then you put on the lotions, you put on the creams, and you basically have a very luxurious experience. So luxurious is could be very affordable, right? You get one of your favorite creams, and you put it on in a way where you basically you put it on in a way that is very slow and very sensual, I would say. Yeah, right? And then you basically adopt a nighttime and a daily routine, right? So the next thing I'm going to go is go into a nighttime and a daily routine. So you're getting into Zen mode, and then you're winding down for the night. How you choose to wind down for the night is, and how do you choose to start the day, is going to set in motion the whole day, and to set in the motion the night into the day, right? So what I would say is that have an experience with self-care, right? I know every week I have a day where it's like the everything day, right? You do the bath, you do the shampoo, you do your feet, you do your hands, you do your face, you scrub everything, and it's like you feel so clean from top to bottom, and you feel completely you feel completely luxurious, right? You feel completely luxurious. But I think if you do it twice a week, that's good. But if you turn every day, even if you're not doing a whole wash day, you turn that experience into an experience, right? You're not just rushing through it, right? In my romanticizing video, I told you guys to slow down when brushing your teeth, because I was looking at a dermatologist, and she was saying how people basically, they rub so vigorously against their skin that their skin is getting wrinkles, right? Because you're in such a rush. You're in such a rush to finish everything that you're doing. So basically, what I want you guys to do is slow down on your daily routines, your morning routines and your nighttime routines. And now that it's fall and it's going into winter, it's the perfect time to start it, because it's the time of calluses and getting like cold. You're getting cold hands, cold calluses, and like you getting chapped lips and stuff like that. So take care of your skin, take care of your feet, take care of your body, and really have a luxurious, make it an experience when you're waking up, right? When you're taking your coffee, sip it slowly, right? And really enjoy the flavors that you're having, right? So the next thing I want to get into is to have an attractive life. What would having an attractive life be without being attractive, right? So the next thing I would say is, in a journal, right? Because we love journals here, is you would write down all the good points about your life, and I want you to put all the good features that you have and begin to accentuate those features as much as possible. So within your life, I want you to begin to love your life, right? Because having an attractive life is when you love the life that you're living, right? You enjoy it and you're relishing the life that you have, right? In my video, Fall Tales of Love, I described my ideal life back then when I was 33. It's changed a little bit since then, but I feel it's kind of like the same idea in many ways, right? I want to relish my life, right? I want a life where I'm writing all the time, where I'm doing YouTube videos all the time, or I'm concerning with you guys, where I'm giving you guys life advice, and I'm basically giving you advice on how to be your best selves, right? The next thing I want you guys to go into is to work on your flaws, right? Work on your flaws and work on loving your flaws, right? And what I want you to do is first work on embracing all the good things about you, which is good, right? All the good points. And then I want you to start anything that you don't like about yourself, slowly but surely working in your head to like the flaws, right? How do you do this, right? Everything is based on perception. If you begin to look at your flaws from a different perspective and you begin to affirm them, you can begin to like them, right? I remember when I was much younger, I used to hate having a pear shape. I used to hate my shape so bad. But then after a while, when I gained weight, I began to love it, right? I began to be like, oh, I love my curves, right? And it changed over time. Another thing I used to not like about myself is that I had like acne, and over time it changed, but I found out I basically loved myself into getting clearer skin. I started to really pay attention to what I was eating, and I would eat more fruits and vegetables, and eventually my skin cleared up. So then you guys, that's my video for today. My name is Christiane Jen. Have a lovely day, you guys. Thanks. See ya. Bye.